This right here is a fake Shure ULX microphone that I got duped on Craigslist. Wanted to tell you that story. Also, tell you how to avoid buying a fake Shure microphone and just overall the pros and cons of buying something fake. So, this was about, I'm going to say, about 12 years ago. And you can see here, I've got this receiver here. I still have the unit and the microphone here. You can still see that. I'll show you the build quality here in a minute. Matter of fact, a piece of it just broke off in my hand just a second ago. But on Craigslist, I saw 4 of these for sale. And these microphones, the real ones, at the time, the SLX were, I think, around $500, somewhere around that range. And this guy was selling these for $200 a piece. So I thought, man, that's 40% of retail. And so I contacted him on Craigslist and said, hey, let's go, let's meet. So I met this person, bought 2 of them. They came in packages, like it had packaging, it said Shure on it. It was colored. It looked legit. Opened it up, looked at the microphone, thought, okay, I actually had, or our church had, a ULX, which is the level higher than the SLX, and it looked similar enough. So anyway, what I took it home, and as I opened it up, there was just a few things that didn't quite look right, like mostly in the packaging, not even in the product itself, but the packaging didn't quite look right. Like the plastic wasn't formed the way I would expect it to like in the packaging. There were the paperwork looked a little shady, like it wasn't uh, printed as high quality. Just kind of some little things I didn't really know what to look for. So at the time, the internet was pretty sparse with information on fakes and stuff like that. But I did find some information on it and was able to determine that this was in fact a fake microphone. So then I was left in this position where I just bought 2 of these things, and and at the time, man, money was like super super tight to where like it was an investment to spend $400 on 2 microphones, and I really didn't want to get duped. These days, there's tons of options that you could buy, better quality microphones than this, but for wireless microphones, on Amazon or whatever. But that just wasn't the case back then. There wasn't a lot of people making products. So anyway, I thought, well, I don't want. I definitely don't want 2 of these because I bought 2 because I thought we could use 2, but I really needed 1. So I called up the person again, or I messaged him, text messaged him, and said, hey, I knew that if I were to just say, hey, I want to return this, that he wouldn't meet me. So he would just kind of ignore it. So I called him up, and I guess I lied to him, and I said, hey, I want to buy another one. Would you meet me again? And so he called, or so we met again. And I probably shouldn't have lied, but I didn't really know. Maybe I probably worded it something like, I'm interested in buying 2 other ones. Anyway, I basically did. I said, I want to meet and get another one. And so we met. And then when I met him, I said, hey, dude, you sold me some fake microphones. So he didn't deny it. He said, I know I got stuck with these. I bought a bunch of them and I'm just trying to offload them. And I was like, well, man, that's not cool. It'd be one thing if he said, hey, these are fake, but he passed them off as the real thing. So we talked and I said, dude, I'm sorry, like this is not cool. And he was like, man, why didn't you just why didn't you say just tell me? And I said, man, I didn't want you to bail on me. I wanted to talk to you in person to figure out how we could resolve this. And he said, I understand. So I said, he goes, what do you want to do? And I said, just give me my money back. And he goes, I don't have it. Like I don't have the money anymore. And so I was in kind of an awkward position. And he said, I could return one of them to you. And I could pay you back for one. So he give me $200 for the one. And I thought, well, I do need a microphone and it seems in pretty good shape. Maybe it's just as good as the real thing. So I thought, all right, that'll be fair enough. So that was what happened. Is I ended up with one of these units here, and I have the rack unit here as well as the microphone. And over the years, this thing has been a thorn in my side. Let me just tell you the build quality and what you're getting from a fake, and then my philosophy on fakes, and then I will show you how bad this thing really ended up being. Here's the build quality. First, let's look at this unit here. So the unit itself actually is not bad. So this guy right here is not too bad. Like it has antennas. It screws on. It's got a line out. It's got a bunch of, it looks very similar to the real thing. It even syncs the same way. The unit itself, the receiver part, I haven't had any problems with. It is metal, it's not plastic, so this wasn't too bad. The receiver itself. Now the microphone is horrible. Okay, so the microphone, as you can see, just cosmetically, this hasn't been abused. This hasn't been like in a band touring or something like that. This is just church use from somebody like getting up and like doing announcements. Like that's what we used this microphone for. We called it the handheld. This is what the person that came up and did announcements used. And you can see like it's just worn off right here. As well as look at this button right here. So we would have to this like unit, this part of the unit that is these buttons here. Um, this where it says mute is actually the power as well. You can just see right there. Another one just popped off right there. I'll get to that in a minute. It kept on like falling in there, and it got to the point where the only way to get this to turn on was to take a pen and get in there and push. You can kind of see it in there. You can like push the button with the pin to turn it on, which is very frustrating, especially when you have somebody say, "Hey, grab that microphone and go up and do announcements," and he's like, "I don't know how to turn this on," and he's got to find a pen and turn it on. Yeah, it's frustrating. So I actually, this thing had fallen in, and I went on Shure's website and found, or somehow got a legitimate Shure replacement piece right here, this foam part or this rubber part for it, and it's still messed up over time. So like it just internally didn't have the structure to support this thing. So it was just a pain to use. And then this thing, like as it would screw on, it like the plastic here is so cheap, as you can see, it started to like this part. Well, there you go. It started to just like fall off, as it would go. So, as it was pushing, it would just break the plastic. So not good. And I'm going to pull this off and show you what happens when I pull it off. So here is the battery compartment, and if I pull this off like this thing pops out, which never happens that elegantly. Let me do it. Let me show you again. This is what ends up happening every single time that somebody would use this. They go, "Oh, I got to replace the batteries," and this pops off, and they got to go, "Oh shoot, man." All right, let me get this on here and put it in there and put the batteries in and put it back on. It never really worked that well. As far as it got me about maybe 2 or 3 years before, maybe 2 years before it really started having issues. So it basically became to the point where using this was not even worth it. And so that's what we did. Is basically I got another microphone, and this has just been sitting in a drawer ever since this video that I'm making right now. It's been sitting in a drawer for about the last 3 years, because I think that when we moved into our new building, I decided to go ahead and buy some real um, microphones. And so that was it. That was the quality. So even at the $200 range that I got this for, at first glance, it seemed like it might be a good deal, but it wasn't. The build quality was it just broke. So now you might be asking, well, how did it sound? That's really the key, is how does it sound? And it didn't sound that great either. It was very boomy, very muffled. There wasn't a lot of crispness, so I really had to tweak the high end in order to get it to sound good as well. And then it started to, as I would boost the highs, it would get more feedback. So not a good microphone all over, the build quality and the sound quality. Now, let me just show you a couple things with this in order to not get duped yourself on a microphone. Let me take off the top here if I can. Shoot. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. This thing is on there. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Well, there you go. There's one thing with it. Um, the capsule here. I'll get some pliers out and see if I can get that off. The capsule here. If I had a real one to show you, even the connection points and everything that's in here it's not the best. It could be a lot better. The and I cannot get this off. Well, what I was going to show you is this is a Shure microphone, and this one actually is a real SM57 that I'm having issues with. I need to resolder something with, but I wanted to show you what the capsule looks like on a Shure microphone. A Shure mic. This guy is probably 25 years old. It has been put through the ringer. It still works, except for the fact that this no longer sits on here. But I'm gonna resolder this in here and tape it up, and it's gonna work just fine. The capsule on a Shure is not black. It's kind of like a gray-ish color on the capsule here. On the fake, it is going to be black. Let me grab a couple other microphones really quick and I'll show you. Well, there you have it. I don't know. I looked around. I couldn't find another microphone that would show the capsule the same way. But basically, I even tried to get this off as I did. This popped off here. So anyway, I guess this video won't show you exactly how to spot the fake on here, but if it's used, you can tell just by the quality of these because this is just junk right here. You can just tell this is not worth it whatsoever. But anyway, the thing that about fakes, and I guess this is the thing that drives me nuts, is that there's a perception that buying a fake is just as good as buying the real thing. Whether you're talking about guitars, whether you're talking about, uh, you know, whatever microphones, in ears, whatever the case is, there's this thought like, well, the fake, surely it looks the same. It's going to be as good, and it's just not true. The internal components usually of most products when they're faked they're subpar. And here's the thing. This is the reason why fakes are this way. It's not because it's made in China. It's not because of the factory that it's made at. It is because in order to make money on selling a fake, so like put yourself in a position of, let's say, somebody that's wanting to make this, so say I'm wanting to make fake Shure microphones and sell them. Well, you're going to go to a factory, probably in China or somewhere. I'm not saying anything negative about that, but you're going to go somewhere and you're going to say, I want it to look just like this, and I want it to, say Shure on the side and look as real as possible, as close to the real thing as possible. But there's no incentive to make it really good. So, like Shure brand has an incentive to make a good quality product. Why? Because you're going to buy it year after year. You're going to buy it. You buy one and then you go, hey, I need another one of these. You're going to buy another one. So there's like a brand loyalty that takes place. There's no brand loyalty to the fake. So what ends up happening is there's no incentive. It's more of like a one-time deal instead of a over time thing. So if they only have one time to make a sale with you selling the fake, they want to make as much money as possible on that one thing. So if they're selling it, the end user is going to end up buying it for 40% of what the cost is. Every penny that they save making this thing is another penny in their pocket. So whereas Shure might be like, yeah, it's going to cost a couple more pennies to make this better. We'll give that to the end user, and it'll be, but it's a better product. It's worth it. There's no incentive for good quality to be made here. All the incentive is to make it look like the good quality product. So whether you're talking about guitars or in-ears or microphones or anything else that's fake, the name on there doesn't mean anything because it's fake. Shure Company or Gibson or Fender or whatever, their name on their side, they want it to be good quality. Now you can argue whether it is good quality or not, but that they have a reputation. A fake doesn't have any reputation. So the quality of the products, as you can see with this unit, even the plastic that it's made on is a cheaper plastic. It just not even is not even holding up. The button that you push here is not uh, isn't any good. It doesn't work. And they might have saved a couple cents in order. I can't even get this thing back on. They might have saved. All right, I'm gonna just keep it off. They might have saved a couple cents on every single one of those components, and then make more money at the end of it. So you're better off not buying a fake. You're better off if you can't afford like the quote unquote real thing, buy a knockoff that is branded as something else. So you could buy. There's a number of knockoffs to Shure products that look very very similar to this right here, but they're not trying to be Shure. They don't say Shure on them. They're not trying to actually be a. They're not trying to fake it. They're just doing their own thing. So there's man, the market for that right now is awesome. So like for right now, I could probably think of a couple, maybe 4 or 5 products that are units that have 4 microphones that are better quality than this one was, built in one unit that cost the same as what I paid for this one that would last year after year. So there's really no point in buying the fake. It's not like somebody is, especially with a microphone. It's not like somebody is going to be seeing you holding this and going, "Oh man, he's using a Shure microphone." Like nobody even knows. Most people don't even know what's going on. This is rattling. If you can hear that or not, it's literally rattling inside here. So anyway, avoid the fakes. I think that there's a lot more information. There it goes. Finally went in. There's a lot more information out on the interwebs right now on how to spot fakes. I make my videos on how to spot fakes with guitars, and I've made one with in-ears for some Shure in-ears. And this one didn't end up being like a how-to spot a fake, but there is information out there on the internet for how to spot a fake. So don't buy fakes. Stick with the real thing, or buy the knockoff that's not trying to fake it, but it's just trying to provide a inexpensive option to the real thing, which actually sometimes has a lot of benefits to doing that. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the bell, all that kind of stuff. Also, you can support me on Patreon, become a patron at patreon.com/Kennis Russell. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in another video.